はい、お待たせいたしました。司会は引き続きハニームが担当させていただきます。よろしくお願いします。さっきのクラウドコントロールすごかったですね。クラウドコントロール自体は、この ESAS2022 の中でいくつかまだ他にも控えておりますので、そちらのタイトルもぜひ見てみてください。次のタイトルですが、アストロボーイ、鉄腕アトム、アトムハートの秘密となっております。こちら、解説の方、おられません。そして個人的なことを言うと、僕も遊んだことがありません。もし遊んだことがあるという方、あるいはちょっと解説できるよという方、おられましたら、ぜひジャパニーズリストリームの方に連絡をしていただいてですね、飛び入りでも構いませんので、ぜひよろしくお願いします。またコメントでもね、何か補足等していただけると大変助かりますので、よろしくお願いします。どうやら名作というお話を聞いておりますが、ゲームボーイアドバンスか。ゲームボーイアドバンスのゲームですね。かつて桜井さんが絶賛したゲーム。ああ、そうなんですね。まあ、RTA の経験がなくても、ちょっと遊んだことあるよという方は、ぜひね、ストーリーの解説、あるいはステージの解説していただけますと大変助かりますので、よろしくお願いします。カテゴリーバースって何なんでしょうね。この、一番左に書いてある、これカテゴリーの名前なんですけど、一体どういうカテゴリーなんでしょうね。カテゴリーバースって何だろうって今思ったので、SRC でちょっと調べてみました。まず最初見て思ったのが、カテゴリーにバースとリバースとトゥルーエンディング、そしてフルオメガファクターっていうのがありまして、1周目とかそういうことなのかな。バースのルール見ると、complete the initial birth place rule。ニューゲームして、最後の戦いを終えたらタイマーストップ。1周目とそれ以降でゲーム性が変わる。ああ、なるほど。じゃあ、1周目を一通りクリアするというカテゴリーなんですかね。鉄腕アトム自体も僕自身があまり知らなくてですね。今回の奏者、ドラコダンさんでいいのかな。バースカテゴリーで1位を捉えております。自己ベストは25分58秒となっておりますね。これ、今見てびっくりしたんですけど、25分58秒のタイム出したの、これ3日前ってなってますよ。3days ago ってなってますよ。これ、スピードランド.com で。すごいな。これ。めちゃくちゃつい最近更新してる。世界1位。で、2位の方が27分9秒なので、1分ぐらい差をつけて、すごいですね。仕上げてきてますね。だいぶ。バースどころか、これ全カテゴリーで1位取ってますね。ドラゴダンさん。4冠してます。すごい。 ではまだ少し時間がありそうなので、このイベントの紹介をしようかな。現在ですね、ご覧のチャンネル、ジャパニーズリストリームでは、ESA サマー2022という海外の RTA イベントの様子を公認で日本語ミラー配信しております。ESA サマー2022はですね、ヨーロピアンスピードランナーアセンブリーという Twitch のチャンネルで行われている Save the Children を支援するチャリティー RTA イベントです。今回のイベントはスウェーデンのマルメにあるクオリティホテルビューというところでオフライン開催されてますね。で、寄付先であるセーブ・ザ・チルドレンは、すべての子供たちが健康に成長して十分な教育を受け、安全に過ごせるようにすることで、子供たちの可能性を最大限に発揮できるようにする、そういう支援団体、非政府組織です。チャリティーイベントなんですね。ESA サマーというのは。寄付と関連して特定のゲームには高難易度への調整とか変更とかエンディングの選択等が予定されております。ビットウォーという仕組みがありますね。このイベント自体は23日の夜から、31日の朝頃までですね、24時間昼夜を問わずずっと開催しております。ぜひ最後までお楽しみください。という、いつもの紹介をさせていただきました。ちなみにスウェーデンのマルメって時差いくらなんだろうな。
And we still have some donations left. So there's a $5 donation by HUDs, which is very impressive. Like, Argic, despite your ferocity, the monstrosity of how you mince
時差7時間みたいですね。
is causing great animosity.
今、夕方4時18分だそうです。
Will slow your velocity while we continue to give our generosity to this virtuosity. Woo, that was a mouthful.
そうですね、今、右下にこれ、現地時間が表示されてたんだ。16時18分ですね。いいですね、オフライン開催。日本でもね、ぼちぼちオフラインでのイベント開催ができるようになってきて、このまま RT イベントがまた元の形に戻っていくといいですね。ちなみに今回の ESA サマーはですね、ストリーム1、2という2つの、なんというかストリームが、一部並行で同時に行われています。ストリーム2の方もですね、ジャパニーズリストリームの、リストリーム、日本語再配信を行っておりますので、空き時間等はそちらもぜひご覧ください。今ってストリーム2は何やってるんだっけ？ペルソナか？ペルソナやってますね。EST8 時間半の長期 RTA をストリーム2の方ではやっております。すごいね、8時間半。 現地の様子はどうなんでしょう。ストリーム2はもう別部屋でやってる感じなんですかね。この風景を見ると。まあホテルの会場を借りてということですから、このストリーム1とは別の横の部屋でやってる感じなのかな。ストリーム2の、日本語再配信やっております。ジャパニーズリストリームのですね、今ご覧のチャンネルはストリーム1の再配信をしているんですが、ありがとうございます。ジャパニーズリストリーム2というそちらの URL で再配信しておりますので、こちらにも解説の方お越しいただいております。長期 RTA をする人すごいですよね。僕もねちょこっと RTA 走ったりはしてるんですが、なかなか8時間半 EST っていうのはすごいですね。そうですね、ストリーム2は長時間系のタイトルが多いのかな、どちらかというと。並列でやるとそういう風に長時間のタイトルも採用しやすくなるのでいいですね。
Hello everyone. How are you all doing? Welcome back to ESA Summer 2022. So we are raising money to Save the Children, and we would like to thank ViewSonic for their monitors this event. Apologies for the wait, by the way. And Twitch for allowing us to stream on their platform and just being awesome in general. So now it's time for ASTRO BOY Omega Factor run by Drakodan. Let's go!
始まりそうですね。お、来ました。
What's up, guys? This is going to be Astro Boy. I am Drakodan. Good to be back at last after a long absence. Really glad to be showing this game again. There's been some development since this was last shown, including a full task
さあ、どんなゲームなんでしょうね。
finished, which I will plug afterwards. But we got to do the run before any of that. So I am ready if you are ready, and we can just get going in 3, 2, 1, go.
はい、始まりました。グッドラックです。
It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up made by Treasure. If you've played any of their other games, like Gunstar Heroes, for instance, on Genesis, you're gonna know pretty much what to expect here. Astro has a few different combat mechanics that you can use to progress, like punching, kicking, using finger lasers.
ベルトアクションなのかな。
Special attacks. You don't have full access to your toolkit at the start.
グラフィックすごいですね。
Spec into certain
綺麗。
either to be able to use specific abilities or be able to enhance them. And the upgrade system in this game is based on meeting characters, some of which are story events and some of which are optional. And the upgrading is very strictly rooted in this run. Also, there's a lot of random enemy wave locations, as you're seeing here. That's what a lot of this game is based on. It's a lot of wave-based combat. And the wave
ランダムロケーションって言っても敵の位置はランダムなのかな。
is when the previous wave is finished, and the way the game defines if a wave is finished is when the enemy corpses have all left the screen, and they have random trajectories, so there's a little bit of optimization in sometimes scrolling the screen slightly up
成長システムがあるのか。
We've also
ありそうですね。
our first character, that's an optional character, and we are boosting the laser stat as quickly as possible. Laser is by far the highest DPS stat you have in this game. Punch also does give you a firepower boost, but it's not so noticeable, and you need to make significant upgrades in Punch before enemies like start taking fewer hits to kill. Whereas Laser is very acutely felt throughout.
成長システムの名前がアトムハート。なるほど。
Laser is usable throughout all of the run. The main disadvantage of boosting the punch stat is that there's a lot of auto-scroller segments in this game where you are flying. And the punch simply
マシンガンは全面攻撃、全画面攻撃と。なるほど。
So yeah, enemy randomness being a little unfriendly there, but we can move through this screen fairly quickly. We're able to utilize the boost mechanic to move very quickly through any sets of enemies pretty much. Whilst you are boosting,
無視できる敵は
intangible.
なるべく無視してって感じですかね。
We'll ignore incoming damage and be able to move through enemies. Now, boost is one of the stats which you can choose to upgrade, the jet stat, and that doesn't make the boost more powerful. What it instead allows you to do is use more consecutive mid-air boosts, so you can like chain them together and take like a zigzagging pattern in the air. Although that's very useful since the boost is a very fast mode of movement, we don't boost it at all since you can basically bypass the boost limit by being grounded. Your boosts get refreshed every
なるほど。真ん中上のスーパーの値を消費することで、必殺技的なのが打てると。あ、今36から35になりましたね。
And we're getting to see
指からビームを出してい
the
る
main
と。
special attack that will be used through this run.
早いな。
Cannon, which is on R, and it's the highest DPS option you have in the game by a long
で
shot.
成長。基本的にレーザーを伸ばしていくのかな。
Enhanced as soon as possible. So here's the first boss, Magnemite, and pretty simple strat here. This is the strat that the TAS uses.
指じゃなくて腕か。
It's actually very
ありがとうございます。
just one punch and a laser
腕が変形して出る感じかな。
and that's going to be it. Like the laser really deals very heavy damage to the boss with only a couple of points of investment, and as I say, we're going to max the laser as soon as possible, and it does crazy.
早いですね。
You also get to exploit the laser a lot more than you would in certain circumstances because we are playing on easy difficulty. This is a game where running on easy is, in my opinion, very justified. Both because hard is extremely hard, like it's difficult to just finish the game on hard, regardless of if you're trying to go fast or not. You have virtually infinite super usage on easy mode, and being able to use supers liberally in certain areas is what really facilitates being able to go fast in a lot of areas. It's surprising how much slower normal and hard are just from not being able to use supers as much as you would like.
Speaking about fast, we got a quick $10 donation by Cannonball Com saying, "Let's go!"
Thank you very much. Please keep them coming in. Great.
グラフィック、背景のグラフィックいいですね。すごい綺麗。
Okay, so first mini boss in this auto scroller is just 2 arm cannons. It's going to be down and just progressing on. So again, when there's enemy waves, it's simply getting the waves off screen as soon as possible in order to load the next waves as soon as possible. Take a damage boost here to line up for just clearing those quickly.
今の被弾はどうやらわざとみたいですね。ダメージブーストって言ってました。
It doesn't actually matter how quickly that wave disappears. That's one of the anomaly waves of the game where, yeah, the game progress isn't affected by how quickly that wave dies. So here's the artificial sun. Gonna start in the corner and use a bit of specific movement here to try and get the
やっ
first
ぱりレーザーは強いんだな。
close to the center of the screen. It needs to move to the center of the screen there to start phase 2. And now we're just gonna mash the arm cannon to burst it down as quickly as possible. So again, because this is a flight segment, you don't have access to the punch stat. So like any points invested into punch are completely wasted in this fight. And there's a lot of fights like this throughout the run, so punch is just not worth the investment. So artificial sun goes down, we're gonna land on this island here, and we're gonna immediately find a lion which transforms into a robot, because why not? And then we're gonna find 3 animals inside a tire here, because why not? 3 punches as soon as this starts, and an arm cannon is gonna tear through this very quickly, and we're gonna get another upgrade point from finding a character. Straight into laser again. Now there's 2 potential upgrade points you can get on this screen. I skip one of them because it's just not worth the time to collect it. Whereas this upgrade point is required to progress the story, so we just get to this one as soon as possible. Once again, boost laser. And immediately use an arm cannon to destroy a panel on the wall, which is going to unlock the door at the end of the screen. Ah, a little bit mistimed there, but that's fine.
これは鉄腕アトムだけのキャラクターじゃなくていろんなキャラクターが出てくるのかな。
Upgrade level will take care of them. It's going to be 4 are going to drop on me here, but I can boost through them to not get knocked back, because again, you are intangible and invincible whilst you are boosting. Quick finger laser to finish them all there. Now we're going to enter an elevator here. This is one of my least favorite screens in the game, just because of the way the enemies move, and there's an optional upgrade which I want to collect, but it's very easy to miss here because you need to hit a specific part of the wall. Thankfully, the enemies were very cooperative with where they spawned there, so I could just overlap all of that and get this optional upgrade point. There's a lot of upgrade points like that where it's just like attack a specific part of the screen at a specific time, but that being an auto-scroller segment, that's a very easy one to miss. Okay. So
いろんなキャラクターが出てきますね。
precise input here where I'm going to boost to the right, aim left, and wait for the enemies to fall in a certain way. That's like the last frame before I would have taken damage to the enemy falling on me, so that was nice. There's only a short frame window to actually get that without taking damage and kill them fully with the laser blast. So we are fighting the robot from before. This is Pook, who can transform into 4 different animal forms. He's always going to start the fight by cycling through the 4 animal forms he has. So this is either going to be bird or fish. Bird, okay. So the next one is going to be the fish form.
タイミングよくレーザーを撃って撃退していくと。
Pretty precisely to actually finish the form transitions quickly. With the fish in particular, we'll try and dive under the floor. And if the arm cannon is mistimed, you won't get all the damage to prevent it from going under. And didn't get any additional lion transformations. That's really good. The lion transformation always loses a bit of time because it has a bit of invulnerability when it comes in. So you want to see that as little as possible, and it is completely random. So we're going to deviate from the plan here and actually upgrade shot for this upgrade point. Shot is going to be the secondary stat that we'll use.
そうですね。今のところ
And it is very
なんだこれって思うようなバグはなくて
like we are on
純粋にクリアしていってるように見えますね。
been like in the city, then flying to a remote island, and now we're on the moon. There is a story to this game, but I'm not going to try to bother to keep up with explaining it because it is very, very convoluted and also involves time travel and changing timelines and doing all sorts. It's extremely convoluted. But there's a lot of stuff that you do in this game and a lot of places that you go. So we've already used the shot a little here. The screen that I was previously on with the 8 small enemies all spawning at different points of the screen, that's the main reason that we take that single upgrade point into shot when we do, since it's just easier to take care of the enemies that way. So I don't have any points in jet, so I'm going to have to just manually jump again here. I'm going to pause buffer here just to make sure I don't miss this enemy since...
おっと、今、なんだなんかしたな。
Find where the last enemies are. I use a little bit of a RNG reducing strat there, where I wait at the bottom of the silo for a few enemies to spawn, so that they all spawn at the same rough spot. That was discovered by Somiku Star, another great runner of this game, a great passer in general.
あ、ポーズバッファーで位置調整って感じでしょうか。
It's also a slight optimization I'm going to be using in certain spots as well, is that for enemies that are too weak to warrant using the arm cannon, since it has a startup time of a couple of seconds every time you use it, if they're too weak to do that, you want to use a punch combo to kill them instead. But for enemies that take more than 4 hits, like a lot of enemies will take 6 hits for instance, it's slightly faster.
やっぱレーザーが強いんですね。ずーっとレーザー撃ってる。
Like that with the kick. You instead want to cancel the combo after the 3rd hit with a boost and then restart a new combo simply because the animation is faster rather than letting the kick go off.
敵からダメージを食らうと
I'm going to use 2
パンチのコンボがもう一回やり直せるから今はわざと食らったのかな。
Finish this guy off. Just before I get hit, move straight onto this plasma room. So this room is a little like the darkened room in the 2nd stage, in that the reason you can't see freely is because Astro doesn't have enough points in the hyper sensor.
このステージすごいですね。霧の表現が霧か煙か分かりませんが。
Getting this optional upgrade is actually very important for a very strange reason. When I come onto the next set of enemy waves here, once I get into this section. The game is supposed to...
進むのが普通に難しそ
For whatever reason, if you collect the upgrade point that I just got, the lag doesn't occur. I have no idea why this happens, but it just definitively doesn't happen. And it's a lot of lag, like the game lags every other frame. So by getting that upgrade point, you are getting a slight power boost, and you are making that section take half the time it normally would, which is like, I have no idea why it works like that, but it does. So we're gonna have 6 enemies, random spawn points here. Not the friendliest start, but if we can have, okay, that's a good.
う。この敵の位置もランダムと
Except
言ってありますね。
wait for the cycle now. That's fine. Little bit of an exploit that I'm going to be using from time to time. It's the closest this game comes to having a glitch. Is that when you have a diagonal slope that you come up against, if you boost against it horizontally, you move faster up it than you're supposed to. I assume it's because the game can't force you to move in the direction you're trying to go, so it applies your speed vertically instead. It's a bit weird. It's not exactly a glitch, but this game really doesn't have any glitches or skips. It's the closest you get to having a glitch in this game. So we'll see it here. You just like move very quickly up there.
ビーム出す時の位置調整がすごく素晴らしいですね。
Start with 2 arm cannons. He's going to fire a huge laser at me, but while you are arm cannoning, you have some selective
あ、打ち勝った。すげえ。
kinds of attacks, and his arm cannon is included in that, so you just ignore it. Phase 2, I move him physically into a specific position to start, so that when he boosts through me, he'll end up in the position we started in, because this cutscene forces you to both move to central locations. So by having Atlas end in a specific spot, it just reduces downtime in that cutscene there. So now we're at the South Pole. Like, again, you go to a lot of different locations. And we're here to
レーザーがマックスになりました。
celebrate the first robot president of a nation. And then this conference is going to be the victim of a terrorist attack of a human terrorist group that doesn't like robots. And like I say, this game has a plot, but it's best to not try and wrap your head around it while you're...
カテゴリー名はバースっ
It's,
ていう
it's not worth
名前だそうです。
So we're going to come into another...
生まれるバース。
Here. All you need to know is that platforms on the left are bad, platforms on the right are good, and they're completely random. And I
生まれるとか誕生って感じですかね。訳すとしたら。
But I want to see as many platforms on the right as I can. But that is all there really is to this segment. So if there's any messages that you'd like to jump in with, now is a perfect time.
Well, a little birdie told me, like, we have an anonymous $10 donation saying, Happy birthday, Drakodan! Good
Thank-
luck on your run!
Thank you very much.
あ、奏者さん今日誕生日なんだ。
Yes, they do.
And happy birthday from me!
ハッピーバースデーって言ってましたね。
Thank you guys
あ、
very
違うのかな、それともこの作品内で出てくるコメントを引用しただけ？
Entirely boring auto-scroller section here, but it is still an auto-scroller section. We've discovered that there is a nuclear tank that is heading to the Antarctic conference, so now we need to go back and intercept it, and that's going to be...
誕生日かもしれませんね。
So few enemy waves going to be coming up here. Okay, that's pretty good for that wave. That's surprisingly difficult to dispatch that wave in a relatively fast fashion. Didn't get hit by that enemy. That is very good. Two reds there. Okay. Going to be 3 blue enemies from the bottom here, and then get 3 coming from the top. Like, a lot... This is what all of the auto-scroller sections in this game look like. It's just... You always know where enemies are going to be coming from, so it's just dispatching them as efficiently as possible as they come on. The task, like, maximizes this by just killing everything on the first possible frame where possible. And the rest of the time when there's nothing to do, I just have Astro bounce around the screen like a DVD logo. And I think at least at one point...
DVD ロゴさっきの跳ねてた鉄球のことを DVD ロゴって言ってましたね。あとやることないわってわかる人にもわかる。
Because even a full arm cannon doesn't kill this, so definitely need the DPS. So here is the nuclear tank. This is Caribs, and I'm going to start by getting close so that I can actually damage it.
あ、奏者さんやっぱ誕生日なんですね。おめでとうございます。そっかそっか。
I'm going to go inside his hitbox and take a damage boost. Finger laser down another bubble of the health bar, and finish with another arm cannon. This What? Okay, I apparently was
あ
too
逆
far
向いちゃいましたね今。
the right, which forced Astro to turn around. That's strange. But either way, boss is still done. The intention of that damage boosting strat standing inside him is simply to remove an instance of.
この奏者さんずっと喋ってるのすごいな。
It's only like a very minor time save, but that's all you really have to work with in this game. As I say, there's no big glitches or tricks or skips in this game, so it's really just all about the minor
な
optimization.
んか敵がちっちゃくなってる。
Small enemies spawning from both sides of the screen, being extremely uncooperative there.
多分バグかな今のは。
As much as I can to burst them all down with arm
あ
cannon.
違うかこれ。そういう世界なのか。
Off screen, so everything needs to be on screen to be hit. And of course, there's one left.
バグなのか演出なのかわかんないこれ。
Moving on to this wave, just go all the way to the right and face left. Something that I'm exploiting here as well is that I mentioned the boost gives you intangibility. A consequence of that is that you can move through enemies, but once you become solid again, Astro and an enemy cannot occupy the same space, so something has to move. And in most
皮膚で巨大化。クラウドコントロールですか。
the screen border, you will snap an enemy into the screen like that. So you can exploit this to get right to the edge of a screen, turn around, and use a screen-wide attack to kill an entire wave of enemies very quickly. That's something that's very exploitable. Again, it's not really a glitch, but it's definitely an exploit. So more auto-scroller action. This is probably the most interesting auto-scroller of the bunch. It's probably the most technical to get right.
キャラバリエーションを増やすためにサイズ違いがある。ああ、なるほど。
Try and make sure that I can
あそういうことか。
as soon as they're available.
ありがとうございます。なるほどね。
Very nice wave there. That's very fast. Gonna have another platform coming from the bottom, which that's fine. So this enemy wave doesn't really matter how quickly I kill it, because
DVD ロゴがまた。
start until the spike balls are off screen. And the next wave that comes up, again, this is another wave which this does not matter how quickly I kill these enemies, so I'm just gonna ignore these entirely. But now
倒しても時間に影響ないから。
our walls,
無視していると。
the kind of name that come on screen there, it does matter how quickly you kill those.
また大きな敵出てきました
Same
ね。
with the ones that are on screen right now, except those are random locations, so sometimes you can't always get in line to shoot them quickly, which is a little unfortunate, but doesn't make a huge difference.
海外で鉄腕アトムのあるいは手塚治虫作品の認知度ってどれぐらいなんでしょうね。
Once you're within a certain proximity,
少なくともこういう風に奏者さんが出てくるくらいには
make them as quickly
知られてるのかな。
start the next wave. 2 platforms. I try and get them closer to the bottom of the screen since they leave the screen slightly sooner. It's not something you are full
ああ、超有名。あそうなんですね。
the platforms is pseudo random. They loosely track you, but they do have a mind of their own. So 2 arm cannons to finish off these segments of the train, and then once the core opens up, it's going to have a couple of random attacks it can use. That's not a great one, since it goes back in. That's the worst one, since it barely stays out. Hopefully this arm cannon will end it. Okay, that's fine. Didn't get amazing RNG, but didn't get awful RNG there either. So I'm going to boost forward here, 1 finger laser, boost back, use a kick, use another kick to cluster all these guys together, and 1 punch combo should take care of that.
結構知られてはいるんですね。じゃあ
These enemy
海外でも。
waves, you cannot see where these enemies are spawning because of the foreground layer. They're going to spawn randomly from the left and right sides. So I'm just going to wait for all of them to come on screen. There's 6 at a time. And then boost to the side of the screen and just use the same tactic of using a screen-wide attack to clear them at the same time.
そうレーザーを撃ってもね、スーパーのゲージ
To set up the
使ってるんですけど、敵を倒した分かなり回復するから、
That's
ほとんど消費しないか、むしろお釣りもらってくるみたいな時もありますよね。撃てば撃つほど増えていくみたいな。
and that'll be fine.
もちろん奏者さんがタイミングをね、
So now we
完璧に把握されて撃ってるからでしょうけど、
and there's a reason I say it's a quote-unquote
全然減らないですね。必殺技ゲージ、スーパーが。
to push Dead Cross to the side of the screen. I need to be far enough along that he doesn't get pushed off screen by this. Now the Goblin Mech is going to die. And now 1 more arm cannon finishes off Dead Cross. Apparently that's a boss fight, but I don't know. Apparently it's a boss fight. I'll just trust them. So now, on top of all the
ね、
other
撃てば撃
events
つほど
in the game that
もっと撃てるようになるみたいな。
now we're going to get transported back in time 30,000 years.
難易度を上げると
Historic civilization.
もっと難しくなるんです
To
ね。
overthrow a psychic dictator who wants to take over.
難易度を上げるともっと難しくなるんですねって当たり前ですよね。なんか当たり前のこと言っちゃったわ。
Try and follow the storyline while you are like actually doing a run. It doesn't help, but it's a very interesting storyline when you're playing casually, and it just makes you like, what? They're gonna same tactic again, and same tactic on the.
またこれすごい世界観のところに。
The random mooks that can spawn here, these little shield guys, they can put up their shields, and it completely blocks all incoming damage. They are completely invulnerable to damage while the shield is up. And it's kinda sorta random whether they do it, but it's sometimes predictable as to when you do something that will make them put the shield up, like standing right in front of them. Using a couple of kicks there to
ここでもちっちゃい敵が。
bearings there. The kick is pretty useful when you have a lot of enemies together, since you get like that sound effect. Whenever you kick an enemy and send them flying across the screen, they turn into projectiles which deal further damage to enemies that they collide with. So when you kick a group of enemies, it's a lot of ricocheting damage across multiple mobs. It's very nice. So now we've got a little bit of a movement screen here. A lot of boosting against the slope. And if you contact these wheels at any point, you get knocked back, and it's a very long recoil animation, so I'm being very careful to not get hit. So now we have Sharaku, the psychic dictator I mentioned.
奏者さんの自己ベが25分58秒なので、そろそろって感じなんですよね。もうすごい早いですが、もう終盤も終盤ってところですね。今までそんなにミスしてなさそうに見えるので。あ、トールだ。3つ目。この人はなんとなく知ってます。
wastes a lot of time as he becomes completely invincible during it. But whilst his red attack
シャラクっていう名前ですか？名前まで知らなかった。3つ目が通るのあのキャラですよね。
It's all post-apocalyptic. Full war has broken out between humans and robots, and we have to fight a boss rush of the world's strongest robots. First we got North, the versatile robot. Use a specific strat here where I'm going to take a hit so that I can boost upwards. And this laser is not going to hit me. Selective intangibility.
シャラク・ホウスケ。
Now we have Denko, the invisible robot. This is supposed to be a very long and drawn out fight.
ありがとうございま
I
す。
haven't really used the shot yet. I've said it's a very important stat, but I haven't used it yet. So the thing about the shot is, the more it's upgraded, the
こ
more
れ
it
も
stuns enemies.
最終ステージくらいに来てるんじゃないかな。
It's supposed to run away as soon as you deal damage to him.
早いな。
Invisible. But by stunning him, we can just basically stun lock him and finish the fight right as it begins. And this is going to be the main exploit on the remaining boss fights as well. That by using the
レーザー、マシンガン、レーザー、レーザーとって途中マシンガンでスタン挟むことによって連続攻撃できたと。
you just use a shot, a couple of arm cannons, a shot, a couple of arm cannons, and all they can do is sit there and get killed by you. So Brontus is going to bounce around. That's just random, and it does waste time, unfortunately. And then wasting even more time, but now he is forced to open the court. And now we get to start the process.
マシンガン、レーザー、レーザー。
One punch to make sure that the damage is going to line up properly.
コンボ決めてますね、今多分これ。途中でマシンガン挟むことによって多分スタンさせてるんじゃないかな。
So 2 more arm cannons will now finish the fight. I'm going to jump to make sure this one connects. As long as you are at least 1 pixel off the ground, you will connect with Brontus here, but if you're grounded, the arm cannon misses entirely. So you just need to make sure you are...
一切攻撃を受けずに。すごいですね。
And this is pretty much maximal upgrades for the purpose of doing DPS in the run. There's 2 more fights. So Epsilon, the aquatic robot. I'm always going to start...
2 more fights って言ってました。あと2戦なのかな？
Okay,
ボスラッシュって感じですもんね、今。
which means I'm just going to go all in and just arm cannon until he's dead. If he was raising the other arm, I would need to stun lock him to prevent a...
敵の攻撃をまだ一切見ていない。さっきのね、ぐるぐる回ってるやつはいましたが。あ、大丈夫？
Now I'm going to lose a couple of seconds here. Because it still hits you after Epsilon dies. And now Astro's going to need to move to the center of the screen as well. That's just... There's a few different random attacks that Epsilon...
ああ、攻撃受けちゃったんで真ん中に行くまでの時間がちょっと増えちゃったと。
That's nice.
でもワンターンキルできてますね。
Pluto, the world's strongest robot. Gonna... Okay, starting off with
あ
Plasma, Pluto's really...
どうやらラスボスみたいです。
So I am not necessarily going to keep him stun locked here, but I am going to need to move quickly because this plasma attack kills you very quickly if you spend much time connected to it. Oh, I'm just about not being contacted by that. I'll have a bit of selective intangibility here to ignore it. Missiles is very good because there's basically no lag while they're going on. And time is going to be...
Fruit.
Health reaches 0 here, so we are very close to time.
ラストですかね。
I'm fine as long as I boost out of danger, and... Time.
はい。
Yeah, you don't
GG です。
if you don't do anything about getting hit.
キャラクターいっぱい出てきましたね。
And then there's a few, you discover another character, yeah, I've got another upgrade point, you get a few more cutscenes, and then the world ends completely. And it's like, oh, bad end. And then you get resurrected, and then you start the time traveling stuff. And again, don't try and follow the storyline. That's the only rule. Don't try and follow the plot, except when you're playing casually, which you should. It's a great game. Thank you all very much at ESA for the opportunity. Thanks to everyone for the support. Hope you all enjoyed. If anyone is interested in learning this game,
ちょっと。ちょっと。
I forgot this.
あ、そう。
Yeah, thanks.
お誕生日おめでとうございます。
Learn this game. There is a Discord server, like every other game. Not super active, but always love helping new runners. This is a surprisingly.
そうですね。Don't follow the plots って言ってたので、
And
最後ね、バッドエンドで終わるのかな、この感じだと。
so
ストーリーはあんまり
very
ね、
much. I will let you all get
ストーリー良くないというか悲しいエンドになっちゃうけど、
Shout out, right?
ゲーム自体はいいよと
Like the
言ってはり
task.
ましたね。
Oh yeah, watch the TAS. It's good. TASvideos.org or like my YouTube channel and the TAS Videos YouTube channel. Just search Astro Boy TAS and it'll come right up. And it's really, really, really fast. It's like, what was that? 2640.
グラフィックもいいし、アクションもすごくよくできてそうで、楽しそうなタイトルですね。
Doesn't sound like a huge gap for a TAS, but it's a whole ton of RNG manipulation, which is incredibly unreasonable in real time. It's very fast. Thank you all very much, and good
Thank
luck
you,
to the rest of the
Drakodan.
runners.
ここから2周目が始まるという感じでしょうかね、ゲーム的には。それがリバースカテゴリーということなのかな。はい。というわけで、アストロボーイ鉄腕アトム、アトムハートの秘密をお送りいたしました。では、次のゲームの準備をしてまいります。司会自体は次の方に交代させていただきますので、私はここで失礼いたします。引き続き ESA サマー、そしてジャパニーズリストリームをお楽しみください。どうも、ここまでご視聴ありがとうございました。